Hello folks and welcome to the second part of my tutorial series about audio visualization in Blender. I'm sorry that it took quite a long time since the past episode, but I have some ongoing problems with YouTube blocking my videos in Germany for GEMA reasons, if you don't know what this is. Never mind. So in the last part we created this one here. And what we want to do now is to create a frequency analyzer, 16-band frequency analyzer, and this looks like that. Again, doesn't look exactly pretty, but we want to show the function first and then make it pretty. In the next part, I promise you, we make it pretty. So what we need to do is get 16 cubes which will wiggle up and down, and they will not pick up all frequencies like this one, but a certain portion of the frequencies at all, a frequency range. So what we need is 16 cubes. We could put in now 16 cubes and assign an F-curve, do the F-curve modifier thing, get the object origin to the bottom. This would be no good workflow. I want to show you how to get from here to our result, to our 16-band frequency analyzer with as less mouse button clicks and keystrokes as possible. I want to show you a good workflow. So let's get right into it. We make this a bit smaller and this bigger so we see what we are doing. So let's press 7 to get into top view. And yeah, here we have our cube from the top. This is the best view you can have to get it really quickly done and precisely. What we want to do is, I want to show you for the first cubes in detail what I'm doing. Then I'm gonna speed up a bit because we don't want to lose time. So we press G to get into grab mode, restrict the movement to the X-axis by pressing X. Then we press Ctrl to snap to the grid and move this cube over here. Now we press Shift D to duplicate this cube, press X to restrict on the X-axis, and move this one over here. Again, pressing Ctrl lets the cube snap to the grid. This makes it more precise. So now we have two cubes. We press Shift to select both. Then we move both of them over here. Press Shift D to duplicate, restrict on the X-axis, and move them over here. So now we press A to deselect everything, press B to make a box select, draw a box select around this, and press G, X, and move this over here. Shift D to duplicate, restrict the movement to the X-axis, and move it over here. Half the work is done. So again, A to deselect everything, and B to make a box select, and move it over here. Sometimes I use those arrows, sometimes I use the G key, and now for the last time, this Shift D and bring it over here. So now we go into front view, so we can see everything we have done. So these are our 16 cubes. Now I selected everything. Let's see what it does if we press Alt A. Yes, we have 16 cubes jumping up and down in the same fashion. But we don't want this. We want each of them to represent a particular frequency section, if this makes any sense. My English is again a bit lacking. It is early here in Germany. Yeah, usually I record video at night and then I am awake. Now it's in the morning because I want this video finally to get done. So we have our 16 cubes. What we want to do as the next is to assign a particular frequency range to each cube. We want this to be the lowest frequencies. We want this to be the highest frequencies. And on my laptop over there, you can't see it, I have a table of values I found somewhere for a 16-band frequency analyzer. And yeah, now you will see the magic of, I have to get into top view again to get this one. Now you will see the magic we have done by copying these cubes, because if we go down here and let's make this bigger and go into the graph editor. Yeah, there it is. And we select again all the cubes by box selecting them. You will see we have a lot of F curves here, a Z dimension curve for each of those cubes. And if we go on one and look, we have also the F curve envelope modifier here. Again, we know from the last part. And that's very convenient. And we have a curve here already. And we will simply overwrite those curves with new curves. And that's very, very easy. So we select the first cube. I hope this is the one. Yeah, it is. And we activate the Z dimension curve. And now we go, as we did the last time, to key and say bake sound to F curve. And the last time we only double-clicked this audio file and it was done. This time we will use this section, bake to F curves. Those are the parameters for the function. And yeah, we didn't look at them the last time, and today we're gonna look only on those here, lowest frequency, highest frequency, because this is what we need. We need a low frequency and a high frequency, the borders of the frequency band we want to assign to each of the cubes. And the first cube will have the absolute sub-bass. There shouldn't be something there, but yeah, usually there is something. And it goes from the lowest frequency, 0 hertz, no movement at all, no sound at all, to the highest frequency, which is not very high, 25 hertz. And now we double-click the audio again. Yeah, it takes some time. And we see the curve is much more flat. If we look at it now, if it plays, we only see a little movement of this cube. So let's assign the next cube, and then you will see that it already works. Okay? Z dimensions axis, you see the whole curve is much more spiky. Key, bake sound to F curve, and now we go from 25 hertz to 40 hertz. This is usually in most tracks where the first hearable sound is at all. Let's double click this. Always takes some time until this is exported, and you see this has already a bit more of a movement. And you see, okay, I will do this for each of the cubes now. And first, I didn't want it to show you this and fast forward it, but then people would complain. So 40 to 60, what was it? 63 hertz. And let's import it, sorry. Let's play it again, Sam. And you see, with each cube, we get more movement inside it. Next cube, Z dimensions, key, bake sound to F curve, lowest frequency, this time 63 Hertz, and highest frequency, 100 Hertz. So let's look. Looks great already. So, next cube. Very hard to select them if they are flat, but I get it done. So here the Z dimensions already selected, bake sound to F curve. And now this goes from 100 Hertz to 160 Hertz. By the way, you will see that those frequency bands get wider if we go to the higher frequencies. This is because there's not so much amplitude in the higher frequencies. Usually, it doesn't have so much punch, so they have to be wider. The frequency bands have to be wider, so any movement is visible. But you will see at all that it gets quite flat. Let's look at this again. Okay. Next cube. This will take some time. Z dimensions, bake sound to F curve, 160 this time to 250. You find the values I use for this in the video description. No worries. Okay, let's get this right in. Yep. And we don't want to listen to it now. We just dimensions key bake sound to F curve, and this time it takes us 250 to 400. Slowly getting there. Come on. And this one, Z dimensions key bake sound to F curve, 400 to 630. By now I have almost all the values in my head, but I want to make sure, so I have this list on my laptop beside me. Yeah, we have done half of the work already. Okay, this one goes from 630 to 1000 already. Not 100, 1000. We would have a very bad surprise if we would, put a 100 in there. Next cube. Z dimensions. Why is it not already selected? Bake sound to F curve. And we go from 1000, not 100, to 1600. When I practiced this, I got it done quite quicker. I'm still nervous. My second tutorial, bake sound to F curve from 1600 to 2500 already. And let's get it in there. And the next. And this is from 2500 to 4000. And import. And the curves are getting already flatter. There's a lot of bass in this track and not so much treble, not so much highs. So yeah, from 4000. Nice TH today again. By the way, did I tell you that I'm not a native English speaker? Yeah, so it takes somewhat longer because my machine has problems to record sound, and doing all that stuff at the same time. It should be powerful enough, but anyways. So, and this one gets from 6,300 to 10,000 already. We are half through the audible frequency spectrum, the frequency spectrum humans can hear. Z dimensions is already selected, so we go here, and now it is 10,000 to 16,000, and import. And yeah, it's already the last cube. And again, for last time, backs down to F curve, 16,000 to 20,000. Yeah, one more. Okay. And now we can listen to it. Okay, and so you see, it already works. And if we go into 3D view, yeah, it is great. But what you see is that the curve is a bit weak. It doesn't peak as much as our level meter the last time. This is because last time the whole frequency spectrum was fed in this one cube. Now it is divided amongst those cubes, if this makes any sense, and therefore it is a bit more flat. So we have to inflate that again. And if you remember, there was that thing called the envelope F-curve modifier with which we inflated the curve. Before we do this, we will get another camera angle on this scene, because if we now look through the camera, we only see a portion of the frequency analyzer. Let's play it again. But we want to have a full view on this one. And yeah, I said I expect you to be an experienced Blender user, but maybe you didn't listen to me. I'm sure some folks are here who just started with Blender. Anyways, let's split this window here. How we do it again? Let's split this into two. Let's get rid of the numeric input here by pressing N, and the tool panel also, so we have a camera view here. We also don't need them right now on this side, but we want to turn this into a top view. Here's our camera, and I could wiggle around with the camera now and try to place it somewhere, but I have I have another way I like to do it, by placing a target object which is not visible, so I can target the camera at anything. So let's add something. Let's add, where is it again? An empty. And I prefer it to be spherical so I can see it better. This here is our empty. It's a not rendered object. This is very, very well. Let's render it, and you will see there are some failures because those cubes are so flat. The renderer doesn't know which face is up and not. Yeah, this is quite complicated for me to explain right now. But you see, this object is not rendered at all. It is not visible. So what we want to do with this is we want the camera to target it. Currently it does, because the camera does point towards the middle of this scene. So with the camera selected, we select also by pressing Shift the empty, and then we press Ctrl T to make a track constraint, and we select track to constrained. And now it was not really pointing there, the camera, but now the camera is pointing there. And if I go to side view here, select this empty and move it up and down, we see the camera follows it. This is great for getting, our view on an object. Let's press Ctrl Z to put this to this place again. And now let's get back to top view and just grab that camera, drag it out, and now we move this cube up just a bit, just about here. So now if we press Alt A, we have a perfect view on our scene. Now we want to get to inflating that curve, and now you will see some other workflow magic. I'm sorry if here's a cut, I had to drink something. So let's go to the front view here, and let's have a look which of the cubes gets the most peak. I think it's this one here. So, okay, we want this to go up, somewhere here. So we have a good visible frequency analyzer. And if you remember, we did this by changing the values, the control point here in the envelope modifier. Now it is at -3 plus 3. Yeah, TH is very hard. So let's put it on -10 and +10. This is very heavy. And let's scroll to the timeline, and it goes right through the roof, as you see. This is not what we want. So let's put it to -8. Yeah, we have to +8. Yeah, almost there. I think it's -7 +7. Yeah, I think this is a good value. So, and we want this to be proportional. We just don't want some of the cubes to peek out and some to stay on the ground. So we just copy those values amongst over all the other cubes. Yeah, we could go now and go into each and every of them. Here it is still 3. And fill in there -7 +7. Wouldn't be too bad, but there's a better way to do so. To do it. Sorry. Here are 2 icons. This copies the active modifier, the settings of the modifier, and this pastes it. You can also use Control C and Control V. I had to think about how to say it in English, but we will use the icons for now. So with our cube here selected with the correct values, we say copy and go to this one, and now we say paste. But now we have a problem. Let me show you. If we make this bigger here, we now have 2 F-curve modifiers, because this is a modifier stack, and the pasted modifier didn't overwrite the old one with the -3 and +3, but added another one. We have to delete this one here. And to make the workflow very fast, we will just do this. Select the cube, delete the modifier, paste the modifier. Now you see, it was still in the buffer, so and we can do this for each of the cubes. Select the cube, delete the modifier, paste the modifier. Select the cube, delete the modifier, paste the modifier, select the cube, and so on, and so on. Yeah, I could fast forward this, but yeah, some people would complain and say, hey, I didn't understand something. Oh man, my TH again. TH problem for Germans. At least I am not speaking typical German English. I hope so. So, yeah, I like to joke about this because many Germans are speaking even uglier English than I do. Yeah, now we have it. Let's have a look. So, and if we render this out, it looks like this. Now we have a problem because the lights, let's go to the top, are all in the back of the object. So we get this light in front of the object. Let's render this out. Whoa, this looks more pretty. Not exactly pretty, but it looks more pretty. At least we can see something. And if we render the animation, it looks like that. Also, not pretty. Also, you will see that those values here, because there is not so much highs in the in the track, they always be a bit flat. People like to have it even, so you can increase the values of the f-curve modifier for this, but don't overdo it, or you have a complete mess and you don't see a perfect representation of the frequency anymore. So that's it. We have done it. We have built a 16-band frequency analyzer, an ugly one, a gray one. In the next part, I promise you, we will make it a bit more pretty. Let me show you how it will look then. Well, this is more pretty, I think, huh? Not the best one, but we will get there by and by. I will not show you yet what we will come up with after a few parts. It's a surprise. But this is what we will get out of the next part. I would be glad to welcome you there again. Subscribe to the channel to not miss the next videos. Write down in the comments if you liked it, if you did not understand something, if you have something to complain, if you find it great, say anything, and I will do my best to get better and better and better at this. See you next time. Bye.